Hi everybody, I'm going to show you how to do the photo retouch assignment in Pixlr. So I've opened the Obama image here, right? And I'm going to duplicate that layer. All right, so I have a copy here. I'm just going to call this the working layer. Okay, and the background is just the original that I'm going to save. Okay, so the first thing we want to do here is we want to get rid of some of the smaller spots. After that, we're going to get rid of some of the more um, substantial flaws here, the scar on the head, the wrinkles around the mouth, and the lines under the eyes. So let's start with the freckles first. We'll go over here, we'll get the healing tool, and we have to make sure that the brush is not too big. So right now it's pretty big, and I'll just make it even bigger to show you. So if it's really big, what's going to happen is, let's say I'm trying to cover up this mole here, and if the brush is really big, I click, and you could see it makes it kind of messy there, right? Or over here, I want to cover up these freckles. I click. It takes a second to process, and you can see it doesn't look nice. So I'm going to go Control Z to go back. So what I need to do is make sure my brush is quite a bit smaller. Let's try 14 here. Yeah, that looks good. Now I'll just zoom in a little bit, and I'll just put my pointer over the freckle, my brush over the freckle, and click. I'm not drawing, I'm just clicking. Just click, 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 like so. Click, 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 and up here, click, 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 click. One out there, click, and let's see. Got one over there. Well, that doesn't look nice. Oh, that's okay. It's under the eye. I can fix that later. Okay, so I've gotten rid of most of the freckles here, and maybe one over here, one over there. So the next thing I can do, so if let's just have a look when we zoom out. Okay, so it looks fine. Um, and if I go here and I click this check mark, it will get rid of the top layer that I've been working on and show the bottom layer, which is the original image. So there, you can see when I click that, it shows the original image and then our manipulated image, right? So it makes a big difference. Next, we're going to remove the scar. So there's the scar, and same. Actually, no. We're gonna use the clone stamp, and basically, what the clone stamp does. Let me show you what the clone stamp does. It it allows you to take a piece of the image and move it onto a different spot of the image. So I'm gonna make my brush bigger, and it's a bit laggy. That's okay. So my brush is big. I'm going to click on the eye. Okay. And what I did there it said source. When I'm on source, that means I'm going to sample a part of the image. So I'm going to click on the eye here, and I've sourced that part. Now I'm going to move over here and I'm going to click, and paint, right? So it's taking that part of the image and it's going to start drawing, okay? Where you can see the smaller black circle. Okay. Go undo. So you get the idea there. Let me make the brush a bit smaller and give you another idea of how that works. So again, I'm going to go source here. Let's do the nose this time. I bring it up. Okay, there's another nose. I go to source here. I sample the mouth. I'm going to put the mouth up here. Okay. Oh, I want to put another mouth, so I'm going to go source, click there, and I'll put another mouth there. Okay, so you get the concept. Go back. We can use this concept to, instead of doing big changes, we can make small changes. So I'm going to reduce the size of my brush. I think around 20, I don't know, 25, I'm guessing. We'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. And then I'm going to zoom in a bit. Okay, we want to do the forehead here. So I'm just going to pick a spot to source. Maybe just right here. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to paint. And you can see it filled that in pretty good. Now I'm going to do the mole. And it's kind of what I want to do with the mole is I'm going to reduce the opacity with all these other I'm going to, because I want it to blend in a little bit. So let me try it with the mole. I'm going to try about 80%. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to source. The mole's quite dark, so I'm going to go to a darker area. And I'm going to source an area that's kind of dark right here. I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to click on my mouse. Okay, so it filled it in, but it's still dark. And the same thing over here. With this, I want some of the wrinkles to show through. So I'm going to lessen this even more. I'm going to go to like 35%. Then I'm going to go to source. I'm going to click here. And I'm actually going to make my brush a little bit bigger so that it covers up the whole wrinkle if I can. It's a bit laggy. Maybe something like that. Okay, ooh, that might be a bit big, but we'll find out. So source, click there. And then I'm going to paint over this wrinkle. So you can see what's happening there. It's painting over, but not 100%. So it's making it a bit lighter. I have to be careful because I just created another wrinkle. You can see right in here, I created another wrinkle. Back. And maybe it'll be better if my brush is smaller. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click here. I'm going to type in, I think maybe around 45. Okay. And then I'm going to source here. And my opacity is at 35%. And I'm going to just start painting it like so. Okay. And then I'm going to source again over here because the angle's changing. So I'm going to source that and I'm going to paint it in. And maybe this part I can source from below. Okay, and then zoom out and see what that looks like. Okay. And then same thing over here, source. This one's a bit trickier. Okay, source. Just paint that in like so. Maybe I can go over it twice. Okay, now this part's a bit darker, so I want to use my darker source over here. And actually making it too dark. I'm going to go back. The lighter source. Let me try up here. And then like so. Actually, I'll just lower the opacity. So you can see you kind of have to experiment to get things the way you want. Right, so that's not too bad. Source here. Source. I'm going to source from down here. Wait. Source. That's kind of annoying. They have to go up there and then back. Okay. So I have to make sure I'm not sourcing his actual lip there. So I move that up. And then one more. Wait, I'm going to source from above again. Up here. And right in there, I want to get that part. Okay. Probably would have worked better if I used a softer brush. Okay, so now let's look at the before and after. This is before, before, after, before, after. And then we're going to do under the eyes. We'll do the same thing. It's probably better if you have a softer brush, like I mentioned earlier. My brush was at about 25%. I moved it to 45, and you'll be able to see the difference perhaps under the eye. So same thing, source. When I do this, I want to source close to the nose so that I can bring my brush across to the left. I find that works the best. And I want to make my brush bigger if I can. A bit laggy. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to source right here. And then I'm going to put my brush there. I'm going to bring this across. Okay, and keep going across until I get it to look the way I like. That's not bad. Let's double check the before and after. Before, after. Do the same thing over here. Okay. Not bad. And I'm going to go back a bit. That looks better to me. Okay. And then, is that it? That's pretty much it. And then we can see the before and after here. Like so. Before, after, before, after. The other thing you can do is you can go to adjustments and you can adjust the brightness and contrast. I always do that. So I can bring my brightness up if I want. I can decrease my contrast or increase my contrast. Apply. And I'd say that's pretty good. Um, you can, if you want, you can maybe go in and try and blur or sharpen the edge, but I think it looks pretty good like that. You can go here and just blur it a tiny bit, but if you blur it too much, it doesn't look nice, right? So you have to be careful. You can go just lower the strength. Okay. And then blur this a tiny bit. Same thing over here. And it makes it look a bit more natural. When we zoom out. Okay. Next, I'll show you how to put the two images side by side, the before and after. That'll be the next video. Okay, guys, take care.